What's up, y'all? No long intro today since I'm already, but only a few minutes late. Even though I did have to push the show back some. Said is in the back, and we're definitely gonna get him up in just 1 second. But I don't know. For some reason, I feel like whenever I'm giving my introductions, like starting the show out, I have to. It has to be exactly how I usually am, or it throws me off. So, what's going on, Tisha? What's up, Darius? Nice to see you. Nice to see you guys. What's up, everybody? Y'all come on and pile in. Please like the video on the way in, share the video with your friends, all that good stuff. Um, Said if you can hear me from this perspective, which I'm pretty sure you can, are you good with, and you can type it to me in the private chat, are you still good with kind of controlling the visuals and stuff like last time we collab? But the rest of you guys, y'all come on. Come one, come all. Okay, cool. Thanks so much. We're already very close to my magic number, which I figured we would be since we're doing the collaboration. You know, Said got 1,000,000 subs, so so y'all come on. We're gonna talk about so though Cedric and I are collaborating with this video, we're not coming from the exact same angle, at least judging from what I noticed he labeled his video to be titled versus what I did. I'm gonna be more so coming from the aspect of sham marriages in general. And I think Cedric's going to be giving us the perspective of kind of the lucracy, how lucrative divorce is today. And so I think both of those are very, very interesting. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get my intro. We're going to get started in. Welcome back to another episode of the Tough Topics Podcast, where I'm your host, J Mac, and we do talk tough topics over here. So glad that you're here with us tonight. If you don't catch the live stream, so glad you decided to watch the playback. It's just as fun. And you can still see the live chats if you would like. Make sure to like the video on the way in, subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. You guys already know I have a theme song. What Dion be saying? Give me my theme music. Yeah, yeah, give me my theme music. Let me remind you guys about how all my friends are heathens. Cedric.
Yo, what's good, everybody out there? How are y'all feeling? Thank you, J Mac, for having me on tonight. I feel pretty good today. I want to let everybody know that I love them. Might be a little tipsy. I think that's alcohol talking, but I feel really,
What?
really good right now. Yeah, I feel really
Well,
good.
I'm so glad that you are feeling good. And of course, I'm also equally happy that you're here with us. So y'all know my audio has its own little thumbnail. So just ignore it. Just focus on focus on me instead. I'm gonna see if I can't tinker around with it to at least just get it to where it's mostly just he and I showing. But we got way more important things to worry about. So as you guys know, unless you have been living under a rock, which I tell you all the time is very possible under these housing economy conditions. But if you are not living under a rock, you probably noticed that young Jeezy has apparently, allegedly, make sure you throw out all the disclaimers for, liability, but allegedly has filed for divorce from his wife Jeannie Mai, however you pronounce it. And so just kind of some like just off the top thoughts for me. The reason why I put his his thumbnail along with, because another couple has apparently announced separation as well. So Jeezy apparently is actually has actually filed for divorce from Jeannie Mai, and Tiana Taylor has apparently separated from her husband Iman Shumpert. Now we know that Jeannie Mai either still is or was a longtime host on the show The Real. And we know that that show is basically a feminist wet dream with a bunch of women sitting around just spewing the typical feminist rhetoric. leftist rhetoric, liberal, democratic, everything touchy feely. Men are bad, men are scary. Women should be able to do whatever they want. Who runs the world, girls, and all that foolishness, right? Just basically just a masturbatory aid for women. I'm convinced because it's that much of one's own ego stroking. And so that right there to me was the first red flag, right? Because it's like you're marrying somebody that is already a professed feminist. Feminists have no business being married to anybody, much less a man, because their ideology is not, when you think of feminism, it's not this concept of, hey, we just want to be, we don't want to be looked at as second class citizens. We want to be treated fairly, womp, womp, womp. No, it's a power dynamic, right? It's the same way with the LGBT community. They baited us with the idea of, hey, we just want to be treated equal. And then they switched once people got on their side. And now, as you can clearly see in the world today, they are vying for power.
What
So
they
said, how
normally
do you
I was about to
yeah, how
say,
do you
what
feel
they
about that?
normally say is with the people who are once were oppressed, when they get power, they become worse than the oppressor. And that's what it seems like is going on right now. And when it comes to the feminism movement, it's like, what else? Like Tyree said, what more do you want from me? Like, that's how I feel. Like, what else is there left? Y'all, the pay, you're in the workforce, you can, abort your kids, which is murder, which you can nobody else in the country can actually commit murder and get away with it and label it abortion so it won't be classified as murder. Like, you got contraceptives now, y'all can sleep around, y'all making the money. So I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm really trying to figure out what more do y'all want.
Exactly. What are you missing out on? I'm trying to figure out because, and then when you mentioned that oppressor versus oppressed dynamic, that even spills into like, even you and I said, with us being based, we recognize that even racism has become a hustle like that. Where it's
Yeah.
like, okay, we can recognize that there were unfair things, very extremely unfair, vile things that happened to people simply because of their race before. But guess what? Once you become the type of people where I've met so many black people either personally or on these YouTube streets that literally feel like off GP, if it's a white person, they just evil, they bad, they no good. And I'm thinking, do you not realize that is exactly racism? Like that is exactly what you said that made those people so bad in the first place was the fact that they thought that about you. So how are
They
you
s-
then
they s-
better than
they
that?
tell us that black people can't be racist because we don't have the power. That's what they tell us.
That's what they tell us, and I used to go along with all that too. I used to be beating that drum. Oh, black people be racist, and then I had to realize sometimes stuff just we say stuff that sounds smart and it's really not smart at all. Because what you mean you can't be racist?
Right.
Like like maybe, yeah, maybe I don't have power to inflict systemic racism against somebody, maybe. But even to that point, I don't even agree with that anymore. Because these days we're seeing so many black people being able to dox people, get them fired from their jobs. You have all this diversity hiring where a certain corporation has to meet certain percentages for race and this kind of thing. So is that not systemic to me or to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
So I
much so.
What's going on, Chris? Welcome everybody to the show. Y'all let us know where y'all watching from. Y'all, it's a Sunday night. We all got to probably go to work tomorrow. Let's just turn up. Let's just have a good time. But
Make sure y'all got y'all drinks in hand.
man, listen, we was at Twin Peaks last night and I had I done became a lightweight. I really couldn't I can't hardly do nothing no more. I had a little lemon drop and like a Jack and Coke and I was just, you know what? Hey, I'm about through for the
Man, I
night.
ain't been
But
to Twin Peaks about 6 years. That's crazy.
we live right down the street from, so we be there all the time.
Yeah.
But so said, do you mind too, if you could be so kind, whatever is the very first, I don't care what outlet it is, if you just kind of Google Jeezy, divorce, Genie, etc., can you maybe pull up one of those articles for us, and we can just kind of pick through and see what the streets are saying about it while we give our commentary. Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much. Lord knows it took me such a long time to get to the point where I had any decent anything, decent video, decent audio. I used to not be able to figure out my mic, so we just we just here by the grace of God.
You said G's a divorce.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, you got AP or you got people. You want one of the video or not?
Oh, if you can avoid a video, that'd be great because I know that's
Avoid the
gonna
video. Okay.
yeah, it's gonna slow down the stream probably.
You want me to just read it or you want me to share it?
Just yeah, just share it on the screen and I'm gonna look at it. We're gonna go through it and then we can talk about one of the people that you put on yours because I know you're coming from a different perspective with the whole divorce thing with Hugh Jackman. And it's funny because when I was thinking of this concept, did I give you do you have the ability to share on mine?
Yeah, I shared it. You got it. You have to allow it.
Oh, I see it. I see it now. I was like, where is
Yeah,
it
you got to
at? The
allow it
last
on
time
there.
we could see it. Okay. All right. So can you scroll down to the text part? Okay. All right. So all right, so it says rapper Jeezy has filed for divorce from TV personality Jeannie Mai after 2 years of marriage. The 45-year-old rapper, whose birth name is Jay Wayne Jenkins, filed to end his marriage on Thursday in Georgia's Superior Court of Fulton County. The filing says the marriage of the parties is what does that say? I cannot see.
Irretrievably.
Irrevocably. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
irretrievably
Broken,
broken.
and
Yeah.
there is no hope for reconciliation. Okay. The the pair welcomed their first child together, a daughter, in January 2022. So the baby is just a year old. I mean, she's getting close to two, but she's only one. Jeezy and Mai began dating in 2018 and were married in March of 2021. Jeezy seeking joint legal custody of his daughter, according to the divorce documents. The two had a prenuptial agreement that Jeezy expects will be enforced, according to the filing. So you can stop sharing for a second, Sid.
Okay.
So now, so we see that they were only married for 2 years, and we also see okay, and we also see that. Let me get a back. Whoop,
Chris said these marriages dropping like flies.
they really are like nobody's even taking them remotely seriously at all. So he has a prenup, thank God. So he at least covered his bases with that because we know a lot of times when this type of stuff happens, these people it's a bloodbath as far on the man's end where he just gonna get
You know what? I wondered did he get to want the prenup because I think from her first marriage she has to pay her husband, so she might have been the one pushing for the prenup instead of him.
what you know
Yeah, if you
what
look
that's
at
funny. But
she's the one that's paying her ex husband. Yep.
I only the only thing is I feel like how they worded it when they said they that he expects it to be enforced where it kind of makes it feel like whatever the terms were that they were terms that he mostly would probably feel like he benefits from. And I'm sure
Hmm.
he is worth more than her. I know she, of course, does have money or whatever, but like said mentioned, she has a little bit of money, but she is apparently owing alimony to her former spouse. So I mean, she probably don't have all that much money. At the end of the day, people love a come up. But I don't even think that I don't think she got with him for a financial come up per se. I think she got with him for the same reason a lot of men, excuse me, a lot of these women get with with any men is that they smell a mark. Like we don't talk about this a lot with black men because black men have such bravado, you know what I'm saying? And that's fine. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that black men are proud men and this kind of thing. But I have seen in my 30 years of living, I have seen a lot of black men. They might be big and tall and strong and handsome and everything else, and they are just as insecure and just as unsure of themselves as they come. And for some strange reason, the validation that they are seeking a lot of times is from some other race of people. And that doesn't necessarily mean from a spousal point. Sometimes they're seeking that validation. Um, it doesn't have to be from women. It might even be from men, not in a homosexual way, but just to say, you want to be accepted in certain circles or whatever. And I think that Jeannie saw a side of Jeezy that the rest of us didn't get to see. Because you have to ask yourself, as a self-respecting black man, why would you get with a woman who is on camera saying very just odd and kind of racially, I don't know, I wouldn't say insensitive, but certainly at least racially ambiguous things about black men. And it's like, dang, we all saw her say these things, right? That she basically don't take black men seriously. She looks at black men like a good time. And she mentioned more than once that Asians are known to be racist towards black people, and that she grew up in a racist family. So I get it. Yeah, you can grow past your family, you can grow out of your family values and teachings. But I feel like that was kind of her way of hiding in plain sight to say, yeah, I grew up hating black people. I just want a BBC to play along with.
What's crazy is everybody hate niggas and black people. Everybody. And the reason I say that, I went to school. I was in high school with the girl, an Asian chick. We used to flirt all the time. We used to do little shit, mess around and stuff. It never got to the sixth point, but we used to do, mess around, kiss, and feeling each other with this high school. And I just asked her a question like, where are we going? Like, are we going, take this serious? And she told me this. She said, I could never bring a black guy home. I said, "What?" She said, "I can never bring a black guy home." And I said, "Well, your ex-boyfriend was a white guy, so he's not Asian either." And she was like, "Yeah, they okay with me dating white guys. I just know I can't bring a black guy home." I'm like, "This is crazy. Like y'all only race loyal to yourselves and white men, but if it's another race," and she probably felt the same way about maybe a Hispanic or something, but they could
Right.
definitely date white men. That's weird.
Oh, their parents, I'm sure, would love for them to date somebody white because Asian people. I watched this girl. She does like fashion videos and stuff. Her name is Karina Wayne, and she's five. Excuse me. She's 5'7", and she said that in her culture and where she's from and stuff, that is like humongous for a woman being that tall. And
Mhm.
she said that they're really obsessed with like fair skin. So you've seen like the
Colorism
geishas
and
that
stuff,
have the
yeah.
like, yeah, the overly dramatic white powdered faces. That's because they genuinely consider that to be beauty, like the pale that their skin kind of has that little yellow tint to it and this kind of thing. And I'm like, that is just crazy. So they would have been just fine with you being white, but you coming in there being black or Latino or something, and they not feeling it. So I don't like when black men, and seriously, literally, like most of the black men I know that are married to white women, aside from one, my homeboy Christian, I don't think this was the case with his wife, but a lot of other black men I know that are married to white women, their parents literally verbatim told their daughters not to bring a black man home. Like and I think even with one of those examples, I think they said it to him that they do not approve of him dating their daughter, and he went along to marry her. And I just can't imagine how low of self esteem you have to to do that.
Or to be somewhere where you're not wanted. Like that's crazy to try to force something when you got to think about your kids and going over there, grandparents. Like you're missing out on a lot because you're not going to be accepted by that family fully. And that is a weird aspect and dynamic to just try to push that. My mom used to always say, "Why would you want to go over there with people that don't want you?" And it's kind of like with interracial dating is kind of indicative of integration and the rights movement. Like a lot of people were trying to force themselves on white people, and white people like, y'all need to go start your own shit. We don't want y'all over here. Now, granted, there were things that derailed a lot of black people from working and doing business with black people. We ain't got to talk about it, but it's a 2023 now. It's like we got so many billionaires. We could build our own and don't have to worry about nobody else and having to worry about dating white women or the looks that you get for being dating somebody that's interracial. I mean, that's a different race than you. Your kids, being confused on if they white or black or how to identify themselves. Like I got a niece that's mixed, so she has trouble sometimes, well, a lot younger, she had trouble identifying that she was black or white, and people saying stuff to her, and she'd be with a white family. There's to say little snide remarks, and then she was like but her black side of the family don't really say too much about race like that. But the white side, they always saying something about race.
See, and that's another thing too, like you mentioned. Why do people never consider if this woman already told you, what in the case of Jeannie Mai, she already told you she grew up in a racist family. Even if she was able to get past that upbringing and kind of grow out of it or whatever and just learn the error of those ways, she's still, unless she told you straight up that she just totally shunned her family, then they're still there. Like those people are still there. And if you do plan on having children, these will be that child's aunts and uncles and cousins and grandparents. So that's just extremely irresponsible to put your future child in that situation just because you have low self-esteem and you want to be validated by somebody of a fairer race because you're ashamed of your blackness. See, here's what's funny. When people hear my content, and I'm sure you probably experienced this as well too, Sted, because we have very similar ideals on this type of thing. They assume that I'm anti-black, which is very strange to me. It's like just because I'm holding the black community accountable does not mean I'm anti-black. In fact, nothing could be further from the truth. If I didn't care about black people, I wouldn't waste my breath, which I'm almost to the point of getting at, by the way, because y'all getting out of control.
Hello, can you hear me?
Can
Can you hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you? Is the mic
uh,
back on?
yeah, it froze up or something.
Yeah, it had froze up, but
Okay.
yeah, like I at the end of the day, I'm not anti-black in the slightest. So I don't have an issue with my blackness. I don't. The thing is, it's just that what's all right. Said, am I back on?
Yeah, you back on.
I don't know what's going on with this thing, and I really hope this is not a thing. But yeah, like I
Let me
said,
ask you a question. So
go ahead.
you think Jeezy date wanted to date Jenny Mai for acceptance?
Yes, some sort. Yeah, Tisha. Every time I say anti black, then maybe YouTube don't like me saying that. But yes, I think that's why he did that.
I just think he had such a bad experience dating black women. I think he just wanted to try something new, and then you got to think, even if Jeannie Mai was Americanized, she probably a lot easier to deal with um than black women. And the reason that I say that is because they had the whole thing with Keisha Cole, and then he had his baby mama dramas earlier in his career. So I think a lot of it is just trying something new when it comes to dating, and dating outside of your race. I think that was more so just trying something because I had such bad experiences with the black women that say they love me, they care for me, they on the front lines fighting for me, and doing all this other stuff that they acting like they support me so much for. But as soon as I get into a relationship with them, try to treat them like they got sense, they treat me like I'm the one that's a fool.
Well, and see, that's a good question, Tisha. Who did Jeezy date? And that's a good question because I don't follow celebrity relationships very closely. Did he used to date Keisha Cole?
Yeah, Keisha Cole. It was somebody else I forgot he dated in the industry too. That was another woman. And granted, it is Keisha Cole. So I don't want to be like Keisha Cole is indicative of all black women. So we know her struggles and the things she come from and stuff like that. But at the same time, I would have to say that maybe a Jeezy and a Keisha Cole may come from the same background. So even if they come from the same background, we all want to date people that we find have some type of relatable experience. Not so much trauma bond, but be like, oh, you like shoes? I like shoes too. That's something that we can converse about. We can talk about. I like your excitement about it. You like my excitement about it. We have something that we can definitely understand when we having these conversations. So I think more so that people are going to gravitate to people that they have a lot of stuff in common. Also, they say people date inside of their IQ range. So I wouldn't be surprised if, Keisha Cole or Jenny Mai, all of these women that he has chosen are all in the same range of IQ, because it'll be hard for you to be very smart or intelligent and be with a dumb motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? You're going to typically date somebody that's the same IQ or same reading level, graduation, education level, upbringing, that type of stuff. So it'll be hard for, like I said, a smart person to date somebody dumb. So that's another thing you got to think about as well.
I mean, and see, here's my thing though, because I hold Black women speak to the fire, but I also try to be unbiased. In my unbiased opinion of this type of thing, specifically with Jeezy and Jeannie, or with interracial dating, period. Once again, I don't have any issue with it as long as it's valid. But I be wondering, like, how come when Black men date other races of women, it at least from outside appearances, they appear to be different men. Like the type of Black man that a Black woman gets a lot of times does not seem to equate to the type of Black man these other women get. Like they seem to become a little, and not in a bad way, but a little softer, maybe not quite as grungy, not quite as, just angry, or I don't know if those are the best words to use, but just not as gritty. Like they seem to be more just willing to be vulnerable, to do like those cute little sweet things that we see on the internet and stuff.
So
They
you
seem to
so you saying the black men are different when they date white women or just outside of their race?
it I would, if you're a woman watching this, like Tisha or anybody else that might be watching this as a woman, tell me if you agree with that. Does it not seem like, for whatever reason, when Black men, when they date the outside races, for whatever reason, it seems like they turn to totally different people. Now they're willing to go do the cute little photo shoots and go to the pumpkin patches. And now they're willing to write sweet little statuses and posts and stuff about their girl and all these types of things that maybe before, when we noticed them dating the Black women, that it didn't appear that they were doing. Now it could be
Hold on,
that the
hold on.
Black
Okay, go ahead. You finna go. I'm finna say. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I was just about to say, it could be that the Black women they were dating did not ask for those things, or did not want that type of image, or something like that, but I don't know.
Yeah, because I just from my experience, all of the women that I dated, all of them, I had to teach them how to love, right? All of them. It's not one woman that was telling me how to be romantic. It wasn't one woman that was saying, "Oh, I like flowers on this day." It's not a woman that I've dated that could tell me just something that I can do for her that shows romance, or that shows that I'm infatuated with her, that I'm enthralled with her. No woman I've ever dated knew about that. Most of the times when it started, when a new relationship started, tip for me, I'm speaking on my experience, it is always fueled by sex and sex and more sex and more sex. And then when you get past that 6 months to a year of the ebbs and flow of sex, and you starting to get out of that honeymoon phase that they call it, it's like, we laying in the bed, we don't really want to have sex anymore. What can we talk about? And I noticed that a lot of women, other than having vagina, don't have much to say outside of sex. So, like I said, when I've dated women, it's like, well, what's your favorite restaurant? What restaurant do you find romantic? Where can I take you? Do you like walks in the park? Do you like love letters? Do you like what's your favorite song? What song, even to the point where what song could I play while we're having sex? It's just like, let's get straight to it, backseat action, quickies, just let's have sex. But like I said, when it comes to me expressing myself to a black woman, I've dated a few out of my race, but it's just a lot different. Like I've had white girls tell me, I like flowers. I like when you hold my hand in the hallway. I like when you carry my books to class. I've had that happen, but when I dated black women in high school, nobody was like, they were like, I'll meet you at school, or meet me here with the whoop, and it's the kids, but it's never like, I like these gestures from you as a man.
And see, I have 2 responses to that, and I can totally see how that's the case. The first is, I think that Black America, period, that's why we have these conversations, especially on my end. I think that we've been conditioned to accept, and not even just to accept, but to romanticize less than. This girl made a video and see, I have to be careful when I say this type of stuff because I've never grown up in the ghetto, the hood, nothing like that. So when I talk about these types of things, I know that some people can feel offended by that because I have not shared that experience. But I can observe the experience, right? So this is coming from someone who, by her own admission, had grown up in the hood. She said that it's very strange to her how when she moved out and she got her, when she became an adult and she made more money and was able to move like to the suburbs, how quickly people were saying, "Oh, you just want to just hurry up and get around them white folks." And oh, you think you're better and this kind of thing. We've all heard it before, the crabs in a bucket thing. And it's so it's really funny to me. Like tonight, I had an issue where somebody must have taken issue with what I said earlier on my Facebook. If you're watching, I can't imagine what you took issue with. First of all, I was half joking, but it was also a very common, logical thing that I said. I said, y'all please stop making plates with two starches. You know what I'm saying? That's a very just easy way to unbig your back because every time I turn around, that's all people talking about. It's unbig your back season. So when I say something, I say, hey, just quit making plates with two starches. If you're gonna make a meal, just try to have your protein, have you one starch, and have you a green vegetable. How hard is that? What? How is me saying that offensive when you know full well that heart disease and diabetes and stuff and obesity is the number one killer of black people in this country. Heart disease is the number one killer of anybody in this country. But when you get into the specifics of obesity related diseases, that affects black people disproportionately. So that's what I'm getting at. It's this conditioning we have to where, to your point, said when you said the black girls, they weren't necessarily the ones that might say, I really like when you walk me to class, or if you would buy me flowers or write me little notes during the day. They either one just expect you to do it or expect you to know to do it, or they don't even care if you do it because they've been conditioned to accept less. So I see what you're saying, that maybe we're seeing a different side of black men when they date interracially because those other women just might actually require more from them.
Yeah, because this is one thing that I know for sure. When a man likes you, the request that you make, a request that a woman can make to a man will never be silly. It'll never be too much. It'll never be, I can't achieve that or I can't make that happen. If he likes you enough, the request that you make, he's going to make sure he can do or provide you with what you ask for. Now, if you are dating a man and he's not doing something that you request, that just means he doesn't like you as much as you think he does. And y'all should probably part ways. But if a woman makes a request and he likes her and loves her, he's going to want to see her have that smile, that giddy feeling. He's going to want to see her being filled with emotion over him and gushing over him when he does, said tasks that she's asking for. So for me to know men and be around men and listen to men, I know for a fact that a lot of black women aren't asking men to do certain things for them. Also, I say this: if you're coming up in the black community, we know a lot of men and women don't have fathers in the household, so they never get to see the interaction between men and women. So if they never get to see that interaction, they never get to see their father bring their mother. Even if it's just for Valentine's Day, flowers home, or her birthday or Christmas, they don't get to see that interaction between men and women. They never get to see your daddy going and slap your mom on the butt. They call it hood affection. Slap on the ass, give a kiss and or wrap his arms around and stuff. They never get to see those type of things, and all they get to see is they mama. A man come in the house, they go in the room, and they go out. A man come in the house, they go in the room, and they come out. He walked right past the kids while they sitting on the floor and kick their fort over like fuck your fort, little nigga, like on Baby Boy, and he just walk out. He just walk out the house. So they never see that because a lot of these women, they mama got the trap swinging like Gucci Man, swing my dough, and so that happens. And so all these women and men know is the interactions between men and women is only supposed to go on in the bedroom, and then they leave out my house.
See, and that is an excellent point as well. The fact that a lot of our youth, and when they become adults, even they just didn't get a chance to grow up seeing the natural affection between black men and black women. And to Darius's point, Darius mentioned it's how that woman treats him, and I know that that was in response to what I was saying about how it's Okay, I think we're back good. Are we back good?
Yeah.
Okay. I really don't know what's going on.
If
So let's
y'all watching, y'all make sure y'all like the video. Watch, make sure y'all if y'all watching, make sure y'all like the video. Put in the comment section where y'all from too. Make sure y'all do that. Go ahead, Jazz.
yeah, I know this in response to me saying that black men seem to act different when they date outside their races and stuff. I don't know, like yes, because we know that that the modern black woman, I have to specify modern because if you're more traditional of a black woman, then I think you're good. Tisha, girl, I don't know what it is. And then to your point about saying maybe she had a big back, baby, listen. Why do people do this thing? Why do you assume? And this for anybody watching. Why do you assume if somebody criticizes a thing that means that they don't receive that criticism themselves? Like I need to lose weight. Like I'm still like 20 pounds overweight, bro. Like what are you talking about? You know what I'm
Look,
saying?
this is a metric. If you're too big, ladies, if your man hug you and he can't do this behind your back, he can't interlock them fingers. Your ass too big. If I can't interlock my fingers behind a girl that I'm dating's back, she too damn big. I need to be able to do this right here. If it's like this, you too damn big. I'm sorry. I hate to say
And
that. I
that's just
gotta enter. That's the test. Interlocking of the fingers behind the back is the test.
and listen, I think that's an excellent metric because let's just be honest, there's a lot of wiggle room for that. Like you could be
Yeah.
there's a lot of different sizes that could fit in that. So if you cannot fit where your man cannot just wrap his arms around you for a hug comfortably and interlock his fingers, then baby girl, no matter who said, whether it's J Mac, whether it's your mama, whether it's your pastor, whether it's your doctor, you need to get in somebody's gym and quit making two starches, sometimes even three starches with your goddamn food. Now, I ain't the smartest joke out here, but I think that that's pretty common sense. Do you realize that just go off into a slight little sidebar? We're talking about stuff like fitness and stuff. The average person should consume about 2,000 calories a day. Your entire day as a grown person. Now, if you're trying to bulk up and be a bodybuilder, then obviously you would take more. And if you extremely, really trying to lose weight, then obviously you would do less than that. But if you just want to maintain a relatively healthy weight, 2,000 calories a day. If you making fried pork chops, cornbread, mashed potatoes, macaroni and cheese, and black eyed peas for the meal, that's 3,000 calories in one sitting.
Yeah.
That's 1.5 times what you're supposed to have for one whole day, and you having it in 10 minutes, and you wonder why you got to go to the special side of the store to buy your clothes. So anyway, as we were saying, now said, can you fill us in on Hugh Jackman? You was telling us in your thumbnail, in your title, kind of talking about the business or the I forget exactly how you worded it, but
The industry of divorce.
the industry of divorce. Yeah, can you fill us in some on that? What's your perspective on that?
Hold on, I'm gonna go to it so we can read it out. I'll read it for you. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. When you pull it up, I'll be making sure to look so I can show it. What's good, Wesley? Make sure you like the video. And yeah, Wesley, it sound good. It also sound like death. That's a once. Have that meal every now and then. We're not stupid. Yeah, if it's your birthday or a nice Sunday dinner with your whole family or something, okay. But you can't eat like that every night, bruh. You're shortening your lifespan by like 20 years.
Most people ain't got nothing to live for, so they don't care. That's why they self-indulging in food anyways, because they ain't got nothing else to live for.
You know
I
what? And
wouldn't even.
see, that's deep, but that's true. All right,
Hugh
guys, you're looking at it. So said I'll let you I'll let you have this one.
It's a Hugh Jackman and Deborah Lee fit furnace Deborah Lee Furness split after 27 years marriage. Our journey is now shifting. Um, it says it's the end of an era and perhaps the end of love in Hollywood. As we know, Hugh Jackman and wife Deborah Lee Furness are breaking up after 27 years of marriage. The Oscar nominated actor, known for his role in Les Miserables
Yeah,
and
let's
the great
yeah, some proof.
and the Greatest Showman, and as Wolverine and Logan in the Marvel movie universe announced the split Friday in a joint statement. The Times has confirmed our journey now is shifting, and we have decided to separate to pursue our individual growth. The former couple's statement said, noting that they have been blessed to share almost 3 decades together in a wonderful, loving marriage. Our family has been and always will be highest priority. We undertake the next chapter with gratitude, love, and kindness. We greatly appreciate your understanding and respecting our privacy as our family navigates this transition in our lives. Hold on. I'm gonna read a little bit more. The Australian
Mm.
Star co-signed the statement, which was first released to People as Deb and Hugh Jackman. They added that it was the sole statement either of us will make. I guess they ain't saying too much about this. And those, if you're gonna divorce, this is how you should do it. A representative for Hugh Jackman did not immediately respond on Friday to the Times request for further comment. The East Wild couple met in 1995 on the set of one of Hugh Jackman's early projects, the Australian TV series Corelli, in which Furness played a prison psychologist. They wed a year later and had two children, Oscar 23 and Ava 18, marking their 25th anniversary in 2021. Jackman shared a series of candid photos from their nuptials, writing, "Being married to you, Deb, is as natural as breathing." Oh, I guess
Now,
he
I
gotta
let
I
me
guess he
inter
gotta die now because he ain't gonna breathe no more. Oh, you froze up again, Jazz. Yeah, I don't think you said blackness this time. If y'all listening out you back. If y'all listening out there,
Yeah, I was gonna
Jazz,
say, I have to
you froze up again. I don't know if anybody else can hear me out there, but I want to let y'all know. Thank y'all for tuning in to the New Normal Podcast. Y'all make sure y'all like, subscribe, and share the video. We're talking about the industry of divorce today. I'm waiting on J Mac to get back. Are you back yet, J Mac? I don't know if you still froze or not. Um, I can't hear you now.
I trust me, I can always tell. I can tell when it's out because if it's out on my computer, then it's I know you can't hear me. Okay, so we should be
Okay,
good.
so Hugh Jackman said being with her is like a as easy as breathing. And I say he gotta stop, he gotta die because he can't breathe no more because they ain't together.
Do you feel like, in your personal opinion, once again, of course, there's no way we could know because but do you think that when he made that post in 2021 for their 25th wedding anniversary, do you think that that was like basically cap? Like, do you think that your relationship could go that bad in a span of 2 years
Yeah, I
after you
do.
had already been married for 25 years? So, like, what do you think? Do you think he was just saying that?
No, I think he honestly did like this woman. I think they probably were in a good spot. And then, some people go through, midlife crisis. Not This is not an excuse or a reason for divorce, but I'm saying that, especially her, I think she's a lot older than him. Um, Midlife crisis. She could have nutted up on him, thinking that she could find somebody better. I don't know why would you do that at an older age and want to be back out here on the dating scene, but that shit is weird. But people do it. So like I said, I do think in 2 years your relationship can go pretty bad and be pretty downhill. Just like Tyrese. Tyrese was saying on the Breakfast Club, like he wasn't expecting. Nobody saw that his wife was going to trip on him like that. Like nobody. And so he thought that everything was good. And then out of nowhere, she wants to get a divorce. So, you just never know people motives. Are they really rocking with you? You could think it's good today, and then tomorrow it just, go to shit. I guess she loading everybody. But yeah, I think that divorce, you back? I think that divorce right now is part of that industry. I don't think anybody that's any entertainers should be marrying each other, should be getting together, and should be trying to portray like they're going to have a successful marriage. I think if you're going to be married to somebody, it has to be, if in that industry, one person has to be famous and the other person got to take the back seat. Like a Denzel Washington, that might be like a good marriage. That might be something that goes on forever. But when you have two people that both people are in the spotlight and everybody got their magnifying glasses on you and your relationship and y'all kids and stuff like that, it'll just be hard for everything that transpires in marriage for y'all to just continue to go on like that, because marriage is a lot of work. And it's, you got people combing through everything that you do, your whereabouts, taking pictures and stuff like that. It just adds extra pressure.
Said, I'm keep going, man. I'm finna see if I can't figure out what's going on with my internet. I'm gonna turn my camera off for a minute, but can you keep the people engaged for
Okay,
just about
yeah,
a few
yeah,
minutes?
yeah. Yeah, Tanisha said, I agree, said. But yeah, like I said, I just think that you as a person, um, especially in that industry, need to make sure y'all know what y'all doing. I don't think it should be two people. Also, I don't like the fact that so many people that have these platforms are in the spotlight getting married and divorced, like JEEZY getting married and getting divorced 2 years later. I wonder how that relationship went and what went on for him to for him to want to divorce her, because it's very rare for a man to file for divorce and y'all have a child, a newly born child. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's still, I think, I don't know the age of toddler. Maybe toddler is 3, but I know that baby ain't older than 2 years old. So when you thinking about everything that's going on in that marriage, it had to be pretty bad to do or to leave. I just think and then I think some people get married and then realize they're not supposed to be married. I do think Jesus is probably one of those people, and Gina too, maybe one of those people that are not meant to be married. We have this notion that there's somebody for everybody. I don't believe that. I believe that there's a lot of people that's supposed
So
to be single. Believe a lot of people that's supposed to be out here slanging Peter Whacker and slanging that cootie pop. I don't think nobody's supposed to so a lot of people are not going to have healthy relationships. A lot of people should only strive for sexual situationships. That sound horrible, that sound messed up, but in America, there's probably only 5% of people that should be getting married. That's just from my assessment. That's from what I see on social media, the morals, how religion is done, what people, the music, the culture. From what I see, only 5% of people maybe need to be getting married in America. You know, you back now?
and yeah, look, we're just gonna cross our fingers. Darian said it's weird for him in the back too. So unfortunately, I think it's just a weird thing with our connection. So we're just gonna just cross our fingers and hope that we make it through, and that we at least get out everything we need to say. And I think said that's actually a good segue to talking about Tiana and Iman, as far as people who just shouldn't have been married. So this is where I'm gonna get into my Christian bag. So I know some of y'all, I get it. I get it. I get it. But let's just be honest with ourselves, right?
Hmm.
You gotta think like if you are married, the word marriage has an air of exclusivity to it. If that's why like things like thruples, like a three-way relationship, that's not recognized by the United States or any other entity, government entity. That's not recognized as anything. You're not going to be able to get some sort of marriage benefits if it's three of y'all or whatever like that. Those things.
Hold on, hold on, hold on. I'm gonna let you go. I think that's dumb on America's part, and I'm gonna let you finish your statement, but I'm gonna tell you why. But I think that's dumb that America don't let you marry more than one people. Go ahead.
Okay, so you can't do that sort of thing, right? So basically, the idea of an open marriage, like the concept itself is oxymoronic because marriage is a closed thing. You get married to a person especially from the perspective of a man. As a man, you marry a woman in the excuse me, under the assumption that this is now your woman, like down to every single part of her. Now, I don't agree with stuff this extreme, but I know there are some people that do, that literally feel like if you're married, like if you're a woman and you're married to a man, there's no such thing as baby, I don't feel like it. Now, I don't agree with that because it's giving grapey, but there are some people that agree with that. And so the point I'm making is it's an exclusive thing. So I knew when Tiana Taylor and them was openly and freely discussing the threesomes and the kind of open polyamorous kind of I knew that that was a bunch of bull jive. That's not a marriage. That's y'all two people that are extremely physically attractive and extremely like as far as just physique wise and stuff, physically attracted to one another, and you done messed around and had some kids. Then you done the the baby girl basically junior or whatever, and which we know is typically reserved for young boys. They was doing the whole trying to flip everything on his head and oh we're not conventional, and guess what, the mess, it was just a sham. Okay, real married couples, at least not in their early years of marriage, maybe 30 years down the road, and for God's sakes, I'm sure they wouldn't tell nobody. If they felt like they was extremely struggling with intimacy, maybe they might consider doing some wild stuff like that. And even then, I don't think so. But it was just a sham to me from the beginning, bro. Marriages are closed. It's your wife and your husband. Y'all having sex with other people, to me, is already indicative that you just got married just to say you got
Yeah, I think with that marriage, I think they was going too fast. For y'all to when y'all got on the Breakfast Club and talking about y'all like to have threesomes and stuff like that, and y'all was recently like freshly married, I think that was a weird thing because one thing that I noticed about relationships, and even from just looking at other people relationships, you have that hump of trust that you're trying to get over, where you're always it's like a plane trying to get to its altitude, its cruising altitude, but has a lot of turbulence. It's always something that's going to struggle and pull it down, but until you get to that cruising altitude where I trust you, we could talk about anything, even if it might, rub me the wrong way. I trust you at the end of the day. And I think that relationship was moving too fast. And then when he was saying that, yeah, we have threesomes, but I gotta have sex with these women a certain type of way. And I'm like, this is supervised cheating right now, or supervised sexual interaction. Like when I think about sex and a woman that I want to have sex with, I want to be free. I don't want my wife sitting here and we doing stuff and you say, hey, well, when it's time for me to bust, I got to make sure I bust in my wife and do certain things that my wife make that still makes my wife feels like she's my wife, while another woman is sitting right here beside us, after she just got done sucking my Peter Whack and I just got done hitting her from the back and we was both eating a coochie, but now I still have to do X, Y. Like, you're literally having supervised sex, and nobody wants to do that. And that's why you have a lot of women who open the door for their husbands and boyfriends to have sex with other people. The man always goes back and has sex with that woman outside of that threesome. Typically, that's because you can't have sex with that woman like you want to. Like, you can't, like, even if her, let's say you hitting her and her coochie better than your wife coochie, you can't go and moan a new way. You can't go and say, it's certain things you can't do because your wife can be like, oh baby, you never made that
Yeah,
face.
you was too
Yeah,
turned up when it was homegirl turn.
right, like you never acted like that with me, or you never did it that quick with me, or I never seen that reaction out of you because you were supervising me, and your sex and her sex is going to be different, anyways, because this is new vagina. Women don't understand. I don't know if it's the same for women, so I'm not going to say that on the aspect of woman getting new Peter Walker, but that new cootie pop is undefeated. It's always undefeated, and that's why I tell guys when they ask me about infidelity, I say I'm not going. I can't see myself going out there cheating on my wife for the simple fact of I don't know what I do. That new coochie, that like they said, that outside cootie pop might hit totally different, and just because it's new, I'm gonna feel like my erection's gonna be harder. I'm gonna nut a little quicker. I'm gonna be more excited to see her. She might be a little bit wetter, than my wife because we ain't been having sex as long or as new for her too. So like I said, it's so many dynamics that come into play when it comes to sex. And like I said, when you're trying to get over that hump of trust, I just don't see why you would jump off the porch that quick and invite a person into your bedroom. That might be, like I said, I think that's something you do when you're still young. So you might be like 10 years. Let's say y'all 5 to 10 years in, she ain't never gave you no reason. He ain't never gave no reason not to trust him. Then you might explore it. But I wouldn't. It's just weird to bring a whole bunch of. I just think about this. Like, if I'm 60 and we like 30 years in, I'm like, I don't want to be seeing a
But I'm
old and
saying,
sad.
like, is it not just the most logical thing? Like, here's I want to make the distinction said between couples and married couples. Single people who are unmarried and are couples, if they want to do whatever, I mean, okay. But I just feel like, what is the point of getting married, adding this layer of exclusivity to your title, the ultimate levels, what is supposed to be the ultimate level of exclusivity, if you're just going to still be screwing other people? And like you worded it, you said supervised cheating, basically. And that's all threesomes in this country. That's all that is. It's this idea of, and then you also have to think too, like, as a man, how much respect do you really have? And I'm not saying like on his part in a bad way. I'm saying, let's say in your mind you think that you want your wife to be open to something like this, and then once it actually happens and you're seeing it for what it's really worth, and you're seeing it happening, I would venture to believe that maybe it might make you feel like, okay, if you down to do some stuff this risque or whatever, like, how I know what you do. Now I'm looking at you funny when you go out with your girlfriends and stuff or whatever, because I don't already watched you go down on a woman just off GP just because I was like, hey, let's do this. So how I know you won't just, and you seem to be into it when you was here. Like, it's supposed to be limits to stuff. It's supposed to be limits to stuff. And when you cross those boundaries, you can't come back. Like, you can't come back from seeing your husband pleasuring another woman and seeing your wife pleasuring another woman. And let's just be honest, we're assuming it's kind of a two chicks, one stick thing. But
Hmm.
celebrities are very weird. Celebrities
They
are
are.
very weird
They be
people.
freaked out. Yeah.
They be freaked out. So it could very well have been two sticks, one chick, three chicks, two sticks. Who knows, right? So I don't know, man. I just feel like off that back then when they first said that, I already knew, and it upset me so bad, because otherwise they could seem like such a nice couple. Tiana Taylor, she really kind of relatively stays out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? She don't really be. She just be doing
She
her little
pretty
dance.
private.
And
So that's why it was weird when that her and her mom was talking about it. And I don't know, was they gonna try to do this whole thing or of trying to be like a couple's goal or something? Because even when her interview, she has interviews, like she really rarely hardly talks about anything about her life. Most of it's about music and what she wants to do, who she wants to collab with. So it was weird that they was so open, about it. Also, I think I think when it comes to like sex and stuff like that, when it's a man you opening up yourself with your husband and your wife, and you're doing stuff like that. I personally don't see a problem, but you with it, because when you talk about exclusivity as a wife, you get a lot of other stuff. Like, you can get alimony, you can get pensions, you can get put yourself on uh life insurance. It's a lot of stuff that come with the benefit of being married, right? But when it comes to sex, everybody knows people like some type of exhilaration when it comes to sex, and sometimes after a while that coochie just ain't gonna get it for a lot of men, right? And it is what it is. I'm not saying I don't know how it is on the woman's side, but I know, just speaking as a man. So sometimes it's a struggle for a man to be faithful at times, because it's
well,
like
you
this.
can't.
Hold on, it's like
We've
this.
had.
Hold on,
Go
hold
ahead.
on.
Go ahead.
It's like this. You know how you were saying, like, sometimes when it's that time of the month, I have these emotions and they feel just so uncontrollable, right? And it's kind of like that same, it's kind of like that same feeling. Like, sometimes you wake up and damn, my dick hard as hell. I'm horny as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like some things emotionally, when it's your hormones are raised, it's different and it feels uncontrollable. And it's like, when you have those feelings, it's just me speaking as a man. When you have those feelings, sometimes I don't want to put this Peter Wacker in my wife, you know what I'm saying, the way it feels. And so, like, I want to try that motherfucker out on somebody else. Like, and this is just a conversation that I'm having with other men. Like, yeah, this is us just
Well,
having. Go ahead.
so, and of course, this is not a new conversation, right? This idea of men potentially getting bored with sex with their wives over time. But I guess, for me, I have to at least just ask. I mean, is that not something? Did you not? expect for that to be like, I feel like don't you have to just be mindful
You cut out again. Jazz cut out again. Guys, I want to tell y'all that I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure that y'all like the video, share the video, get it out there. We're having a good conversation. We're talking
yes.
about divorce. How do y'all feel about threesomes? Should married couples have threesomes? Put a one in the chat if you think yes. Put a two in the chat if you think no. Should married couples have threesomes? But what you was finna say, Jazz?
I was just gonna say, you can't when it comes to marriage though. And yes, y'all know I love my ones and twos in the chat. So put a one in the chat if
So Tanisha said no.
sorry. Y'all, I am so sorry. I don't know what is going on, but yes, I see we got 1, 2 in the comment. Thankfully, my cousin Tisha is logical. Okay. It ain't supposed to be I have no threesomes with
I
the
see.
married couple.
But see, when it comes to marriage, I think you should be able to marry more than one person, because if you can go and have sex with a whole bunch of people and get them pregnant, and then you can put me on child support and pay for multiple kids, you might as well let me marry them and put them all under the same household and be in all of my kids' life. And that way, all of them reap the benefits of my death. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird that you can make me pay for somebody when I could do the same thing getting and get married. And then people always like to talk about like the Bible and stuff like that. Like, yeah, people, David, man after God's own heart, had concubines and all of this other stuff. So it just depends. But I know a
That
lot of
was
people.
an error of his, though. Like, why do people always use that example? That was one of his faults. That wasn't one of his. That wasn't a the story of David and how he was beloved by God. The point of why that's so significant is it was that God loved him in spite of all of those things. Those weren't things to aspire to. And here's the thing, said you're talking about okay, multiple marriages. Let's just throw out a number. If you were going to have multiple
Mhm.
wives, I wouldn't imagine you having more than, let's say, three. So
Okay.
at most, you maybe have 3 or 4 women in the house. That's still not going to be enough. Going by what you're saying, you're suggesting that the reason why a man might want this is because, well, wife number one, I'm tired of hitting that. Well, how long is it going to take for you to get tired of wife number two? You can't marry 50 people in your lifetime.
Well, hold
With
on, hold on, hold on. When I was saying about the marriage, it wasn't on the aspect of tired vagina. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that from my aspect of why people should be able to get married is because you make me pay for. If I can go around and sleep with multiple women, have a bunch of kids running around here, and take care of multiple families, through child support or doing it, behind my wife's back, you might as well let me do it. And then there's a lot of women out here that know about the side chick, and the side chick know about the wife, and they know about the daddy taking care of the families across town and all that. Like, we can't like that's not a thing. So if these women know about it, it would be actually financially advantageous for all of us to share a dwelling instead of me paying for two let's say mortgages, water bills, light bills. Like, if y'all all stayed up under one roof and we got a decent sized house, it would actually be a better living arrangement for everybody. Like, if you got a house, you stay on this side of the house, you stay on this side of the house, your kids stay over here, my kids stay over here, and everybody gets to see daddy every day. Like, I don't have to run around, have to sneak out, have to sound caught out. Like, I heard this one guy say he joined the military, but he didn't. But he told his wife that he was in the military when they met, because he'll go off for 6 months and act like he with his other family across town. And it's like,
what?
yeah, it's stuff like that I hear. Like, a lot of men would be having multiple families and they would say stuff like that. Like, he said when he met his wife, he told her that he was in the military when they met, and they 6 months out the year, and told the other lady, hey, I'm in the military. So when he going out 6 months, he tells his wife he's deployed, and then he do the same thing with the other one, say he going on a deployment. That's how he would do it.
Listen,
And he
I
wasn't
don't.
even in the military though.
Now that's just crazy. Now I will say, if he was in the military, I could see how he could get away with that. His wife thinking that he was off on deployments and stuff, but there's no reason you shouldn't know what your spouse does. You should have access to some sort of, records of something. Like that's just
But we
it,
say that, and I agree. But how many times have we seen stories of married serial killers and the wife like, I didn't know he was chopping people up in the basement. Like, bitch, y'all stay in the same house. How do you not know he chopping people up? Wait, he never allowed me to go down there.
I
I
was just gonna say they have a weird dynamic where he made it very clear that she can't go in the basement. Listen, anybody watching this, if you live with somebody and it's a part of your house that the other person that you can't go in, I would highly advise you to be trying to find other living arrangements because it's giving serial killer.
yeah,
Because I think you say, "Hey, if it's my man cave or something, babe, can you just respect it? Don't go in there and girly it up with all your little perfume scents and stuff." Okay, that's cool. But to say you can't go somewhere, that's insane. Also, let me look at some of the comments. I do not want y'all to think I'm ignoring y'all. Also, if you're just coming in, just a heads up, I've been having some connectivity issues. It's good on Ced's end, but unfortunately, this stream is through my StreamYard tonight. So when I fail, we all kind of fail. So we just gonna keep our fingers crossed. But CBN Tech Talk says uh, good evening, my sis. Tough Topics podcast. I'm listening and working on Sir Hill Speaks Network as an engineer. What's going on, CBN Tech Talk? And everybody else that's watching, hey and welcome. Make sure you guys like the video and share it. Sharing it is by far the best thing you can do because, of course, at the end of the day, whether people like or dislike the content, we just want people to be able to have access to it. So make sure you share it. So, yeah, I feel like I hate that they got married in the first place because, like Said mentioned, they so quickly became couple goals for black people
mm-hmm.
so quickly. And now, guess what? Now we have another issue of a bunch of black folks thinking that marriage means nothing, it is nothing, and all this type of stuff. And we know that any successful societies throughout world history, whether they believed in polygamy or not, at the end of the day, there was some sort of marriage structures and confines within those societies and family building. And baby mama, baby daddy is just not family building. And I just hate that they were up so high. They were held on such a high pedestal, and the higher you are, of course, the harder you're gonna fall.
Just think about this part when it comes to like family building, when you have like a bunch of kids running around. Let's say you a man and you got 27 kids and they all in the same city, then you run the risk of producing, you know, retarded children too, because they may not know they're sleeping with their brother or their sister or something like that. So that's another aspect of family building people don't like to talk about because in Tennessee, they have three men. I don't know if you've seen this story. It's three men. They fathered 83 children by themselves, right? Between 40 something, I think 46 women. So when you think about just that dynamic alone, that's a lot of kids gonna reap beer, procreating and procreating and procreate. And now y'all run the risk of inbreeding because you don't know this your brother, your sister, or somebody down the line, or this genetic defect or something like that. So it's advantageous to know who you come from, where you come from, what you deal with in your family. Uh what they said, what's the thing when they talk about like your curses that in your generational curses and stuff like that. You need to know all of this stuff when it comes to your life, where you're going, who you're dating, and what you're gonna bring into your life, into your body, into your house, and what you're gonna see every day if you decide to get married. So people don't even think about the scientific aspect of why family and knowing where you come from is important too.
They have no conception of it, and I couldn't imagine because it's something that we're hearing a lot more of lately, right? Where these people are grown adults are now finding out that they grew up their entire lives thinking that some person was their father, and it wasn't because it's
Mhm.
always mama's baby, daddy's maybe. And I cannot imagine, like seriously, I cannot fathom what it would do to me if I found out I wasn't a Pierce. Like I can't imagine how that would affect my psyche. Like that is a part of my identity. My last name is a part of my identity, my family, my lineage, you know, uh growing up thinking how much I look like and act like, have the mannerisms of my father, and to have that rug pulled out from under me. And then so not only is it the extreme disappointment and sadness, but now you have lost half of your identity. And it's like, okay, well, who am I really then? What types of things actually run in my family? You know, where is my other parent? Are they still alive? Do they even want would they even want to know that I exist? If I say, "Hey, I'm your kid and I'm 30 years old," would I just be an inconvenience to them and would they not even want me? So that's why I go so hard on the concept of these women having all these kids and just not even caring about who they're procreating with, not even bothering to just to marry before they carry, because what that does to a child, man, it's extremely detrimental.
I definitely agree. When it, like I said, as far as the celebs and the celebrity goes, a couple goes, we need to always understand part of. I don't think you are a real celebrity if you don't get divorced. Like you had to have a marriage story and you have to have your
No,
divorce.
Denzel Washington is a real celebrity and he's been married forever.
Hold on. But what did I go back and say? What did his wife do?
She's not a celebrity.
Okay, so if we talking about two celebrities, you gotta have your marriage story and
Oh,
your breakup story. Cause that's what I said earlier. I said I only think as a celebrity, it'll only work if one person is celebrity and the other person not. When both people are celebrities, I don't think that'll work out too good because both, like I said, both of y'all got everybody with the magnifying glass going through everything y'all do with a fine tooth comb. You out, he's out. You're at this party. If it's like just like think about a Kiki Palmer, she's out with the girls. Of course, she was on stage with Usher, but just say she wasn't. Let's say she was walking down the street and she was just having a girl dinner with her buns out. Then they would still have something to say about that. Like, she's looking very single. And then he's over here that same day at the club with his homeboys. They're looking very single, but they literally had said, "Hey, I'm going out with the girls," and he said, "Hey, I'm going out with the guys," and we just decided to do our own thing. But from what they will look at it, the celebs and the paparazzi will look at it as, they look like they not together, So, like I said,
that's true.
if one person's not like let's say if I was a celeb, and my wife was just a nobody. Not saying she's a nobody to me, but to the world. She goes out with her girlfriends. Nobody's even gonna be checking for her.
That's
People
true.
might see
I'm
me
being
as
honest.
people might see me as a celeb and know I'm a celeb and know that I'm married. When they see me out, they might not even think nothing about my wife at all. They might even realize it might not even register in their mind. Oh, he's a married man. You know what I'm saying? Let's say I'm Chance the Rapper and I'm getting twerked on like that, but my wife is never in the picture or my children is never in the picture, and I never say anything about my wife. I can get twerked on. Somebody might just be like, he's rich, he's famous. This is what they do. But they never would say, "Oh, he's a married man," because my wife is not famous. But a Tiana Taylor go and do that, or a Shamon Shepherd, or a Kiki Palmer. You see how that goes.
I agree that at least one person has to be basically a regular person. Now, you mentioned a good thing with this whole this is literally just something you said way long ago, like, but it just I thought about when we're talking about this celebrity breakups and stuff. We talked about Tia Murray. In my brain, I can't imagine what Tia Murray thinks is out there and how I know, and I'll give her credit for this. I will give her credit for not capping because a lot of women her age, when they get divorced, they cap. They say, "Oh, I'm not really looking for anything else right now. I'm just focused on me. I'm just focused on my journey, my healing. I'm just going to travel the world and hang out with my friends." Girl, miss me with that.
Right.
Every woman desire the affection of a man, desire the covering of a man, desire the provision of a man, and you want that just like everybody else. And she said it. I'll give her the credit for at least having the nerve to say, "I know love will find me again." So she at least admitted that she is seeking another partner. But the issue, of course, being that you had a partner that you professed your love to, and you said that you were going to stay together for better or for worse. Even if, because I had kind of heard rumors that it was a money thing, and I'm thinking, how do, instead, can you explain this to me? Because you actually are married. Like, and feel free to tell me if this is too much prying, but I'm genuinely asking. How can married couples, how can one person in a marriage feel like the other person is stealing money from them? The only way that that could be happening is if you guys have a joint account, you might be insinuating that you're putting more into that account than the other person and they're spending more than they're putting in.
Oh,
But
you
the
can
only
steal
focus.
it. You can steal in marriage. You can definitely steal money in the marriage. For instance, let's say something on the lines of, "Hey, baby, I'm short this week. Do you have any money?" And they say, "No, I don't have any money." And then you find out, hey, this person got like $15,000 saved up in this account, and some of that money has been coming out of the joint account. And but every time I ask you for money, you tell me you don't have the money, but I find out that you do. So, what is the reason for you lying about the money that you have? Because if we're together and it's our money, like they say, when you get married, you become one. Why are you lying about how much money that you actually
But
have?
think about what you just said though, Stan. You said it's our money. So why are you what situation would you be in where you need to ask the other person for some money? Like, isn't you just have a pot of money? Like you have an allotment of money? Like
What you mean?
by the example you just gave. So I'm saying like what would Tia need money for that she would need to ask Corey for some money to where
Well,
he would be.
she Well, she could feel like he would, let's say he hasn't had an acting gig in a minute, and he was normally paying something, um and he said, "Hey, baby, I'm short," or something like that, and she paid the bill or something, and then she found out that he had the money, like he had some money that he didn't want, he just didn't want to spend his money. Like it could be, it's ways you can definitely steal, because if a lie come with saying that you don't have money but you do, that would be stealing in my book, because why are you lying about our money?
I
And
mean,
then
I
tell it
can agree with.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
go
I
ahead.
can agree with that part of it with the idea of if you're hoarding money that you're lying about, then I guess
Yeah.
yeah, but I for some reason those things aren't connecting to me. Like I'm just trying to see like what would be a situation to where that's happening. Like even if you're talking about like bill paying, like okay, are you saying that he just wasn't paying his share of the bills? But to say that would once again insinuate that you guys have separate accounts. So it's like, okay, I guess you might feel like I'm putting
Or
more
or
out.
they could have the same account, but like I said, that let's say all our money goes into one account, right? And like I said, I didn't get any acting gigs this last 6 months, so maybe the 6 months hit, and the money that's went in there has run out. So that 6 months come in, that 6 month hit, and then that, let's say, that auto pay comes out. Now this 6 month, let's say January, I didn't have any money coming to that account. Now that would be an issue in our household, because we might be in the red, because normally you were putting in, let's say, $1,000 a month, another $1,000 a month, but now this January hit, and it's all in it coming out this one account, that will put us in the negative of the red. You know what I'm saying?
But she married him and they're both entertainers. They know how the entertainment industry works. They know that no job is guaranteed. Like it's not like, where you clock into a
Hold on,
9
hold
to
on.
5
Jay,
and you just
I'm gonna say this. I agree 100% with what you just said. 120 million thousand gajillion percent. But when we say this, are we actually talking about logical people? Because those are logical things that you think. Like even when you said, as a man, you don't think that you're gonna get bored with this same cootie pop every day? And then a man will be like, "Yeah, I didn't think I was gonna get bored." But what it is a lot of times you love a person. And sometimes love blinds you stupidly to do stuff that you can't live off. We can't live off love alone. These bills are gonna come. It just is what it is. It's a thing that happens. And a lot of people think that, love is gonna solve it all when it doesn't, because you have to live in reality. And sometimes love is a good thing in the beginning, but it's hard for love to flourish when you're struggling with certain things. It's hard to look over there at that person. That's why I don't be understanding how dudes that be broke have a whole bunch of kids, because like literally my finances is messed up. I can't even get in a race. I don't want nobody to touch me. I don't want nobody around me. I need to go get this money. I don't like the feeling of being broke. But at the same time, if you broke and you're not scribing to do anything else, you got plenty of time to go or lay some pipe somewhere. But that's what they say. Like I remember they had an interview with the baby. I think it was on the Breakfast Club, and they was talking about they asked him a question: who gives, I don't know why they asked my question, but who basically laid the dick the best, the broke dude or the rich dude? And the baby said probably the broke dude because he got time to lay up and do what he got to do. Me, I gotta go. I got 5 minutes. I gotta do what I gotta do, and I gotta get out of there because I gotta go to a business meeting, or I gotta go to this commercial, or I gotta go to the studio, or I gotta go here, there, and there. I don't have time to just lay up with you and have sex with you the right way. So the broke dude is probably going to give you the best Peter Wecker. So I
Oh,
think,
yeah, because that's all they have to offer, like,
yeah.
that see, I one thing about me, I don't pretend like I don't know stuff, like, I
Ah, dang, Jazz, you froze up again. If you guys are watching, y'all make sure y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel.
okay, okay, I think we're back.
Okay. What you were saying?
Uh, well, can you hear me, though?
Yeah, I hear you good.
Okay, yeah. They get babies by the Pookies and Ray Rays because they slang good Wayne, and that's because that's all they're good at doing.
Yeah.
They're obviously not skilled or and of course they do it. They make sure that they're really good at it because a lot of times they just messing with a woman for a place to stay, and so he can
Yeah.
eat some of your baby's fruit gushers and drink your baby Capri Sun.
He
So
over there
he want
couch
to make
surfing.
sure do what?
I said he over there couch surfing.
All my life, man, all my life, and that is exactly how it is. So I get it, ladies, I get it. But at some point, though, you got to have enough sense and self respect for yourself to say, okay, like you can't base your life around sex, bro. That's kind of what I'm getting at, even with why I chose this topic. Whether it's
But
sexual, sex,
hold on. But at the beginning of, but at the beginning, what did I say when we was talking about black men acting different when they get with a different type of people than being with black women? And like you said, I agree. You can't base your life around sex, but that's what a lot of people think a relationship is: just sex, good sex, and they find love in sex, and they don't find nothing else outside of that.
well, that's just an error on their part. And I'm sorry, like I get what you're saying that sex is powerful and a motivator and all this type of stuff, but that's just not smart on man or woman's part to be basing your life decisions connecting making these lifelong connections with a person just off of having an orgasm. Like that's not sensible. And so like and when you're young, I guess I can kind of forgive it a little bit more, but we're seeing this even in people well into their 20s and 30s and 40s and stuff. So it's at some point you just got to grow out of that. Like you got to understand like life ain't gonna always be, this slapping and pulling hair and passionate, slanging each other against the wall sex. Like that's not a thing. That's TV and media and stuff. And I don't know if my homeboy Chris watching, but shout out to him if he is, because he talks about this all the time. This concept of social engineering. And I think that
50,
going back to
50
that,
Shades of Grey.
look, I'm telling you, like 50 Shades of Grey, uh, and that's an extreme example. But let's just be honest. Every Lifetime movie a woman has ever watched, all this type of stuff, where you just think that men are, it portrays men in this certain way. You think
Sex
that
in the
they're all
City.
exactly like that stuff is not real life, and
I say this all the time. Men aren't as freaky as women too. I say this all the time. Women are way more freakier than men, and that's just from talking to women, listening to women, listen to how what the women talk and stuff like that. Because what I noticed, this is another thing. What I noticed when I listen to like my female friends in the group talk, one female is never going to rock the boat, right? So what I mean by that is they could all be talking about a dude dick print, and even the girl that's unaccomplished, like, oh yeah, look at his dick print. But in a dude in a dude group, you always have like a dude would be like, oh, he lame. For instance, I was watching Super Bad, right? And he was like, yeah, you should get her drunk and basically bang her out. And he was like, oh no, I don't want to do that. I want to treat her like a respectable human being. And it's like, you'll always have like a dissenter in the male group when it comes to how we should talk and act when it comes to women. But then in women groups, I see that they're always gonna be what I said, one band, one sound. And so I always say a lot of men aren't as sexual as they like to portray us in the media. Like women are way more freakier, and that's why I think like the novels, your Lifetime movies, your Sex in the City, your 50 Shades of Grey, they always seeing the woman supposed to be exploring her sexuality and doing all of this stuff. And then the man, he's just a tool. He's just a tool to get her to where she's supposed to go. But most men aren't as sexual as people like to think they are.
You know what? I guess actually that's a good point, but I'll say this. I agree that maybe men aren't as freaky as they've been portrayed in the media over the last several decades. But I do think that just from my observations of life, I do think that men base a lot of their life as far as decisions they make, very big decisions. I do think they base that around sex. So I think that sex is more important to men than it is to women. I think that once a woman has found a guy that she enjoys, that she likes, or whatever, a guy that she gets those butterflies for, then of course, yes, she would enjoy having sex with him. But it, I feel like for me, like you almost kind of proved my point with that. You were talking about how men are they're apt to throw away, their entire marriages and families because they're getting a little bored with the sex they're having with their wife. Like a lot of women.
You there?
uh, okay, I think I'm back. Yeah, I just don't think a lot of women are divorcing their husbands because of sex. I think that's something. I think women divorce their husbands probably over money, or maybe she just, I don't know, maybe she just maybe only married him so he could be a stepdad to her kids, and now the kids grown and she ready to just go on and live her life or something. She tired of
So,
the man.
so how do you feel about what Tyler Perry said? That's got everybody in an uproar. Did you see
I
that?
didn't hear it.
So basically, he was just saying like if you're a woman and you make more money than men, because he was saying now that women work the same old rhetoric that now that women work, you got a lot of women making more money than men, right? And he was saying if you could pay all the bills and he could just pay the light bill, but you love him, do that. And then it comes back. Black people just well, it's like black men want black women to struggle, and we deserve love that don't come without that comes without
No, you don't.
struggle, and all it's a whole bunch of that's all I see, and I'm like, bruh, why is this a thing? Like, because one thing we know, okay, I'm gonna say a lot of settling goes on. I'm gonna say this: a lot of settling goes on. But when dudes be like, "Oh, we don't want to deal with fat women," well, you'll settle for one. So you'll sleep with one. You'll marry one. Yes, you will. A lot of women say, "Hey, I don't want no broke dude." Well, you'll settle for one because you married one. Y'all still broke. He's still broke. He not doing it. So a lot of people say what they won't do but they will do, not necessarily saying that's what they want out of life. You know what I'm saying? Some women out here, they have, you know, they see potential in the man that's going to be, I don't know, a multi-million-dollar dude, but he working at the 7-Eleven and he got a good game and he said, "Hey, this is what I'm gonna do and this is my business plan." And I don't know, he put that Peter Whacker on and then he hit her with the business plan 2 days later. And now she think he gonna be the CEO of the next Fortune 500 company. I don't have no clue, but it happens, like people say what they won't do and end up doing with it. Those things that they say they won't do. That's why I have to watch a lot of people that call themselves leaders or activists or put themselves in these, positions of power, give themselves titles of power as if they're moving the crowd of the needle. Go ahead. Oh, I thought you was telling me to hold on. But yeah,
Okay, Stan, I'm so sorry. That time it actually cut you off as well. Can you maybe backtrack about 20 seconds or so?
I would just say a lot of people settle even though they say they won't do something, but they will do something. And like you said, we hear men that say they don't like fat women, but a lot of men would date and marry fat women. We hear women say they don't want broke dudes, but they'll date and marry, broke men. So it's a lot of people say they won't do something, not saying that they want that out of their life, but they still will end up doing something they said they won't do.
Let me interject with something too. Like what the women were having, the response that the women were having to what Tyler Perry said. Black women, this is why I talk so much about y'all. Y'all are insane. And I'm serious when I say this, to the point that, like, the amount of cognitive, just like,
Dissonance. Yeah.
I mean, yes, cognitive dissonance, but typically cognitive dissonance is something you experience yourself, because you realize that, like, the reality of something is against something that you've a belief you've previously held. But and I guess to an extent that's what it is too. But
Mm-hmm.
just like, they're just not being sensible. You could have made these arguments. You could have a leg to stand on to make these arguments, to say, oh my God, these black men just want to see us struggle. Bro, you literally get, by the dozens, by the hundreds, by the thousands, get together on Facebook forums, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube spaces, and spew out the most vitriolic hatred that you can possibly conjure up in your head towards black men all the time. All you do is talk about how, if a dude ain't gonna buy you a Birkin bag, he a dusty. All you do is talk about, if he can't accept me and my 6 kids by 7 different people, then he ain't worthy of my time. You don't understand the concept of leverage. You don't understand the concept of value as it pertains to relationships, because somewhere along the way you let TV convince you that you just a catch, just because you might look good. And heck, some of y'all don't even look good. A lot of you don't look good. You come out the house, what you think looks good, you look like drag queens. You wear
Yep.
the excessive makeup, the extremely defined cheekbones for some reason. You wear eyelashes out to reach the top of your the bill of your hat, and you think that that looks like something. You think that the men, you lucky to get approached at all. Let's just start there. Looking the way y'all be looking, you lucky to get approached at all. Most of you are 50 pounds, at least 50 pounds overweight. Then you got the nerve to be coming outside looking like a dude with this drag makeup. Then you're boisterous, then you're aggressive, then you're mean spirited, and you think that you deserve to be treated like a princess and a queen, for a man to be breaking his back trying to provide for you like they did in the olden days. Now, first of all, we've already dispelled this notion of the romanticizing of the olden days as it is anyway, because a lot, depending on what generation you're talking about. If you're talking about the what I believe is the silent generation, like, for instance, my grandmother was born in 32, and God rest her soul, but I've talked about this before. My grandmama had 2 kids out of her 12 kids that wasn't my granddaddy kid, and my granddaddy had outside kids too. So yeah, he was a provider and everything, and he made sure he always worked or whatever else. But they was both doing their dirt, and such was the case for a lot of households during those times. So we need to stop with that. But the issue, if you're talking about the idea of a man willing to sacrifice himself, sacrifice his free time to make sure that he's working enough hours to provide, and he's kind of, that those days are over, because the reason he did that was because he had a woman worth doing that for. He had a woman that was probably naturally pretty, that knew what femininity was, knew how to be soft, knew how to be submissive, etc. You are the exact opposite of that. So why would you think you're gonna still get the same benefits? That's just crazy.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, when I hate the narrative that provide and protect when it comes to our women too, because it's like provision. Women, this is what's crazy. Women don't like the notion that men say, "Well, we ain't even sleeping with y'all for y'all to be asking for providing and protecting." And women are like, "So we have to do something in order for you to protect us." And I'm like, people actually do pay for protection. Like, you pay for a bodyguard, like the president pays for a secret service. Like, there are people pay for protection. Nobody just goes around and does something and think that you're not supposed to pay for people to protect them. Even Floyd Mayweather walks around with bodyguards to people that he pays them. So there has to be some type of compensation for protection. And I don't understand why this is foreign to black women, or why this sound asinine, but this has to happen in order to think you're going to get protection, especially to think that you're out here getting hit with bricks and a man just supposed to randomly just step in and interject from you getting hit with a brick. That's going to be crazy every time. Every time.
Said, okay, I hate to inform you. I'm certain that they could not hear you. So what I'm gonna have you do is give me a brief synopsis of what you just said, and we're gonna have to wrap it up because it's gonna drive me crazy. This is going to drive me insane. So can you please just kind of tell us a little bit of snippet of what you were
Oh,
just saying? I know they couldn't hear you.
what I was saying, I said it's crazy that women, um think it's wild that men say y'all won't provide provision and protection without some sort of payment, i.e., sex. And they said, "Oh, this is the only way that y'all are going to protect us." And I was saying that the reason that that's the only way they're going to get protection, I said the president pays for protection, Secret Service, Floyd Mayweather walks around with bodyguards that he pays. Like there is some form of compensation for protection. You just don't get random people jumping in to come and save you if you finna get hit with a brick. That's what I was saying.
That is true. And women just don't understand.
You froze up again, Jazz.
Okay, yeah, you're bringing nothing to the table. But obviously, guys, we're gonna have to put a dog ear on this, a bookmark by this, because this is too much for my nerves. So y'all go ahead and thank Seth for his time. Thank you so much, Seth, for coming by to the Tough Topics podcast. We have enjoyed you so much. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed this broadcast. If you have, make sure to like it on the way in or out. And said that you, in fact, I know for a fact that you have some parting words, and hopefully we can get through it without you having to repeat it. So, I'm gonna go ahead and let you have the floor.
Okay, Tanisha, yeah, Jazz back now. But I want to say thank you, Jazz, for letting me come through. Sorry about the streaming issues for tonight. We always build pretty good. I want to tell everybody that I love them. Come over to the New Normal podcast and watch your boy cook over there. I will be back over here, and Jazz will be over there. I'm moving into my new studio pretty soon, so that's gonna be lovely, and we're gonna start doing a lot more panels and a lot more crazier stuff. I got some shit lined up for these panels. I'm telling y'all, it's gonna be wild over there. But I just want to tell everybody to thank y'all. Like, share, subscribe, follow me on all social media platforms, the New Normal Podcast, and they got the same thumbnail in each one of the photos. And on Instagram, it's the New Normal Pod 20. Thank y'all.
Excellent. Thank you, Seth. Thank you, because it had kind of went out again. So let's thank you so much, Seth. We'll see you next time.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay, guys, real quick. Obviously, I'm gonna have to talk the fastest I've ever talked in my life. Thank you so much for watching. This has been an episode of the Tough Topics podcast where I have been your host, J Mac, and you have been excellent. In the event that you see me wrestling with a grizzly bear in the forest, for God's sake, help the bear. And with that being said, just a quick little reminder of why we do not have fences over here at Camp A.
Tell them about the gun line, boss.
And with that being said, peace.